So here we are now in WWE 2K18, celebrating Season 4 of UDW. We were in 18 for a couple years. I thought for this one we might celebrate a couple of the women's tag teams that aren't around anymore for one reason or another. Tequila Sunrise here, they're both characters from Rumble Roses, which, you know, isn't like a huge franchise or game or anything, but I think some people know it. Mostly I just, you know, wanted to incorporate fictional wrestler characters where I could. And I just thought they would be fun there. And also it was kind of fun to have Dixie, Clemets, and Tina Armstrong. The main stars of this match, if you couldn't tell from the arena, are the Squid Sisters, who are characters who I just didn't carry over for the same reason as like Sonic the Hedgehog, which is just that in the new games, like the PS4 era games, you can't really do these like super deformed bodies. You have like a little bit of leeway, but not anything like you used to when you had the sliders for body proportions. So doing these like more cartoony, weird looking characters, and granted they look strange in like the WWE style here, like much stranger than they do in Splatoon, but I still liked having them. I thought it was fun. And I also just really liked the Splatoon arena. I was really proud of the Turf 4 pay-per-view. Not just because I thought it was like kind of fun to take the blood splatter patterns that you could use on surfaces and turn it into ink, but also because I was really proud of this logo. You know, in this era of the game, you couldn't just like upload a PNG to like the server and then download it into your game. You had to use the in-game like MS Paint style logo system. So, you know, most of the logos I made were pretty simple. But like this one and the Cobra one that the Baroness wore were two that I was just thought turned out really good. I was really proud of how I was able to get them to look like pretty spot on. Like I think this looks about as good as you could get. Like the little squid guy on here, I think that looks about as good as you could get in this game. Yeah, then the Rumble Roses characters didn't survive just because they didn't. They were a really successful tag team, probably the #1 women's tag team in the early years of UDW. But, like I kind of alluded to before, Rumble Roses isn't exactly like a big name brand franchise the way a lot of what I use are. You know, I have a handful of obscure characters, but I tend to like to use characters I think people will recognize. And, you know, Rumble Roses has its fans, but I just didn't really think that the Tequila Sunrise had like a big, huge following, and they'd also kind of run their course. Like I said, they pretty much dominated the tag team division. They weren't the like most dominant team. That would go to teams like like the Hit Squad, She-Hulk and Hit Girl, or like Wonder Woman and Xena. But they were like the most like consistent. They were just kind of always there, and whenever there wasn't like a big, powerful tag team dominating the division, they would come in and they would be like the mainstay. So they were like kind of a very consistent, reliable team. But I felt like they kind of run their course, and I just didn't feel like making them again in the newer games. Maybe they'll come back at some point. But the Squid Girls, the Squid Sisters, probably won't. I love Splatoon, especially around this time. I was really big into playing Splatoon. And, you know, I still like Callie and Marie, but they kind of got supplanted by the mascots of Splatoon 2. They're not as relevant to the franchise, I don't think. Like they're probably still around and people know them, but just the fact that Splatoon, the original Splatoon, kind of got overlaid with Splatoon 2 and its new characters, and then I can't even make the teams I can't make the characters look like this anymore. Is just kind of enough of a deterrent that I probably just won't make them again unless there's like some big change in how the character creation works in the future. But for now, I just don't think it'll work. But yeah, Turf 4, I mentioned I wanted to show off the arena again, and you know, this was one of a handful of times I got to use the Tribute to the Troops arena, because even though like the the U.S. military or whatever isn't super relevant to Splatoon, it still kind of felt thematically on brand with something called Turf 4, and I like having this open arena. I like the arenas where you can see the sky in the background. It just feels more special, I guess, to have this like open air arena. I always thought they were cool. you know, there's like logistical problems with real life open air arenas where like the sound isn't quite right or something. But I still think that the visuals of the sky in the background, the way that it goes from like day to night over the course of the show, I think is all like very cool. Gives shows with those arenas like a much bigger or special feel to them. So I always like when we get that in real life wrestling. And here we get a hot tag. We'll see if if Reiko can do better with the no, the I think in the older games, the computer would almost never miss the big like hot tag come in and hitting everyone, and then it feels like by 2K18 it feels like they like miss by default, even though I have the like difficulty set up to legend mode for these matches because I want, or whatever they call the highest difficulty, because I want the computer to do its best while it's fighting itself. You know, there's no reason to have it on a lower one. But if for some reason they just can't seem to do the hot tags as well in this game. But I feel like that's like exclusive to 2K18. So I feel like I remember like 14 and 16. I never played 15, but I feel like I remember those ones more. I don't know. I just feel like they always did the hot tag better. We got a submission here now. Yeah, I don't know how much more I have to say for this match, but the tag matches always seem to go longer, so we'll probably be here for a little bit. But that's okay. You don't need me rambling you off the whole time, right? You can just kind of watch the wrestling for a little bit. Tequila Sunrise feel like they're making pretty frequent tags compared to the Squid Sisters. Maybe I haven't been keeping perfect track, but I feel like they've been tagging in and out pretty regularly. Probably just theoretically helping to keep them fresh, you know? But we still haven't seen any like really big moves, so we're probably still a ways off from the end of this one. Oh, that was surprising. I held my breath for a second. I thought that might have actually been the pin, because like this match was pre-recorded, but I don't remember how it ends or what point or who wins even. But this might be it. We got another pin here. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Good job. Yeah, the Squid Sisters put the Tequila Sunrise away pretty effectively there. I thought Tequila Sunrise had the advantage because, like I said, they were making all the quick tags, but it ended up not being the case. Like I said, the Tequila Sunrise, their strength was really the consistency and just always being there and always being relevant to the tag team titles, but they were often not the most dominant or like the most like at the very top of the ladder. And I can't remember if the Squid Sisters ever held the tag titles or not. I feel like they did for at least a little while. But it was a good showing from them there either way. Very cool to see. So they get the little celebration here. So yeah, that was a little look at our women's tag division from back in the day, and we'll see a little bit more of that in the matches to come too. But thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed seeing the Turf War arena again. I'm still really happy with how this arena looks. This feels like, I don't know, this is just one of my favorite arenas I did, I think. Partly because of the logo and probably because it looks like Splatoon. I was always really happy with how it looked. So